Hi, plenty of bumpy roads this week. Also, I have tried keeping the trades over the night, during the overnight range and after the New York session. And to be honest, it kind of took a toll on my mental capital. But let's get into it. So let's give a context for this week. We've had the weekend price action for last week between 106.5 and 109.5. Actually, we had a good move over the weekend to almost the failed auction area. Then starting on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, we kind of ranged around the high range of the weekend price action move. And then this was a pretty good way to trade here around the weekend price action high. Unfortunately, I got caught into some fake bullish movement, which wasn't necessarily an issue, but it was pretty bumpy over the last week. Nevertheless, overall, we had moved to the point of control of the range between the 97 to 100k breakout to the all-time high. So basically we have this range that we had from last time as well, from the 90k movement support resistance swap until the all-time high, and this is a perfect point of control of the range touch. And so what are we left with right now? We had a big move last week to the downside. Okay, that is absolutely clear. Not necessarily big move, but it's a pretty hefty move to the downside. Now we are testing this point of control of the range, which is completely fine. Okay, so let's get into the trades from last week. Let's go for the trade on Monday. Let's see what's happening here. So for the trade on Monday, what I did was taking a short at the New York session. So the short on New York session, as we got used to, we will do the exact same thing where we take the trades and see what went okay, what went wrong, and so on. And so this was the trade here. Actually, let's do it like this, right? But the trade here on Monday. Okay, this is the first trade for Monday, and then I compounded it at 1922. 1922 should be around here, right? Yeah, so I compounded it around here, and I took the profit. I think I woke up early in the morning for some reason. Oh no, this was a limit profit. Okay, so what I did with this is I had the limit profit for the first position, so for the 0.05 position, because that is usually my initial position, I had a limit order that would take my that would take the profit overnight if it would to go to 107.5k, which happened. It was actually a pretty good trade. Obviously it was a bit lucky that it happened overnight. It was literally this week, so this was a good winning trade. Now if I would have kept this trade for the whole week, I would have been in a big winning trade. Unfortunately I didn't. Okay, so what I did after was on Tuesday what I did was I shorted again somewhere around here, right? Yeah, so this is where I shorted, and then unfortunately what I thought is that when I saw the move being so aggressive on New York session, I thought that I could potentially see a move to the upside here over the all-time high, right? So I took the trade out right here, which was pretty bad, to be honest. So let's see, exactly 1644. So yes, I took the trade out around here. Okay, I took the trade out around here. This was pretty bad. And why am I saying that this is pretty bad? It is because I took a Bitcoin and Solana trade, long trade, because I was actually thinking about this going higher from here. Okay, so I thought that this would simply go higher just because the New York session started extremely bullish, and that we closed this 30-minute at the top of the previous range. And at this point I was just thinking that we would just see higher. Okay, so I actually longed here after I closed that short. Okay, so I longed there, I longed Solana as well, but the catch is that the initial stop was around here, right? So the initial stop for me was around here. Obviously, so basically the stop was a bit more on the upward, a bit more forward, right? Because the trade was up there. But the point I'm trying to make is that if this low here and good wick on the overnight range would have been taken, I would have expected this overnight, this weekend price action low to be taken. Okay, so unfortunately what happened is that on Wednesday it got taken out, and so on Wednesday, as you can see, it got taken out at around 1810, so it's something around this, yeah, obviously around here. So both the trades were losing trades here, and it was a pretty big losing trade. And then let's see what happened after. After that I took two longs. Yeah, so what I did is I took two longs around here. So this is the area I took longs on. The first long I closed for a small profit, and the other one I took it until around here. So it was literally closed at the top, which was pretty good, not going to lie. It was based on obviously going out of the overnight high for Wednesday, for Thursday. That was extremely fine. Okay, obviously the trade was winning. It wasn't a big win because I didn't compound it, but it was still fine. Then after that, what I did is I started shorting, because at this point I thought that we will see lower on the chart, and we will see the weekend price action low from last week be taken out. So what I did is I started shorting, right? So I started shorting around here, which was pretty fine. Obviously it was a very good entry. Once more, it was a very good entry. And then I started compounding, right? I started compounding at 1639 and 1717. So 1639, somewhere around here. I compounded here. First of all, I compounded here. Oh, sorry. Let's make it better. I compounded around here, and then I compounded around here. Well, unfortunately, what happened here is the position was pretty high, pretty big, right? So I just closed it around here. So I closed it around here. Obviously, it was a winning trade. It was a good winning trade. But I think I could have kept it for more time if I had better conviction, right? And maybe if the position would have been smaller, I wouldn't have shaken out of the trade, and I would have just let it move properly. But yes, can't do much to that. And now let's see exactly what happened with the next trade. So the next trade we had a long 1733. Oh yes, so what I did here is I thought that since we didn't break this range, or basically we broke the weekend price action low to the downside, but the wick was pretty strong. What I thought here is that I could probably squeeze in after I closed the trade, the short trade. I could squeeze in a long trade at this point, and the validation was 104k. So the validation was 104k. So something around here, right? Yeah, under this week, under this 4-hour close. This was pretty good. Unfortunately, what I did is I closed it at 106,200 because I've seen it moving to the downside a bit too much. I didn't like it. This happened pretty fast actually. So 106,200, I guess it was this retest around here. Let's double check. 21. What is 21? 21 is around, yeah, so it's around here. So what I did is I closed it here, which was a very good call, by the way. But obviously it was a winning day, so that was great. But then what happened is I started thinking that we would go higher just because we have a weak high on these two overnight ranges here on the new all-time high. So I thought, okay, we went to the downside. We had a good move to the downside. We had a very nice 0.75 range around here. So at this point I thought we're fine. We'll get a failed auction of the overnight the weekend price action low. And so what I did is I started taking the long trades. What happened on 5:30 on Friday, right? 5:30 on Friday should be this trade right here. So this trade right here, it was somewhere around here. So I took my first trade here. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to keep it over the weekend because I really thought we would go higher. Obviously it broke sharp to the downside, but my invalidation was 102k. Why was it 102k? So my invalidation was 102k because if you're checking the weekly chart, you can see that we are having a one time framing to the upside, right? So the lows of the weekly candles aren't taken, okay? None of them are taken. So what I thought about is, okay, if this low will be taken, then we're in a pretty big mess and we'll probably see some new weekly candles following the footsteps of this one if it were to close under or to take the weekly low from the 19th of May, right? So at this point I thought if we're going to take this low, we're going lower, okay, maybe for a few weeks. We didn't take this low, so by not taking this low I could stay in this trade. Obviously it could have been better, the entry could have been better, but I kept this trade over the weekend. Obviously there were a lot of fees and it wasn't really worth it, and honestly I'm really debating if this will be something that I will replicate in the near or in the future, in the near future or the future at all. What I did on Monday is I kept my idea that we basically bounced out of the POC of the range, the point of control of the range, and we didn't take the 102k low, right? That I thought it's a very good liquidity zone, and that if we take that we would go lower the following weeks. So at this point what I did on Monday is I had a compound long here. Obviously this was bad, right? We had a big move to the downside. I had more position, it was Ethereum and Solana as well. So at this point honestly I thought that as long as I can move out here of this trade at the minimum loss, I will be fine with it. So what I did is whenever it went here, I actually got an alarm and I woke up in the night and I closed it here. Obviously the Ethereum and Solana trades were losing, but it is what it is, not much of a big issue. The Bitcoin trade was just slightly a winner, but it could have been way better. So I could have just waited for the New York session here. I could have had this trade on Monday where it literally retested the POC of the range, and I would have had 2-3k move up, right, with probably compounds. Now that was my bad, it's fine. I admit that it wasn't the best trade. Now what I have to take out of this week is very simple. Mostly not take too many trades on Bitcoin, and just I could keep the trades for longer, especially these short ones that were very good, but I also should deploy more patience, because when I took this long here I could have said, okay, let me see a break to the downside and then I will take the long, right? It would have been a better idea. Also, keeping these trades overnight and especially over the weekend, especially a lot of fees are there. I also had trades on Ethereum and Solana, and that made it so that I would have more loss of mental capital, just because if the trades were to break down lower, it wouldn't have been good. The loss would have been too much. So I have to keep that in mind. There's also one more thing where on this short here I compounded it pretty fast, but the trade got pretty big. It was 0.1 Bitcoin, and that was on a 10K account, so obviously it's a bit big. At this point, my mental capital was a bit depleted, and I could have kept it for longer, right? And the good place to keep it for longer, but at that point, you should think about it. Like, don't aggressively compound if you're thinking of keeping it for longer time, right? It doesn't make sense to compound it too many times if the plan is to keep it for longer, because if it goes if it goes back up, I would have lost pretty much of a lot, or the profits would have went sour really fast. Okay, so where are we right now? This is really important. Right now, from what we can see, we have retested this point of control of the range, and let's just see from all-time high to the POC of the range. It's actually looking pretty good. So if we keep this market structure without touching the POC anymore, or maybe just not breaking the weekend price action low, the point of control from last week was 109.6k, and I think this is a good trade to look for the upside. We can keep taking trades, long trades, if we are not breaking this weekend price action low. So this can be a very good stop loss here. Eventually the 102k is a good stop loss as well if it's too close for the trade taken. But to the downside, so this is for the upside, right? So we can have this to the upside. This level is pretty important here. But to the downside, if we are going to break this weekend price action low and the 102k zone, we will probably see lower, right? So we have, once again, this zone here at 98 to 99k, and actually maybe even here with the value area low of the range. And then we have some good weekly high volume nodes here. We have the CME gap from here. So in my opinion, if we are going to see a breakdown of the 102k zone, I'm expecting us to go a bit lower on the following weeks. And now let's go to the Excel for the last week. We have the Excel from the last week. We have bigger losses than wins, sadly. This could have been a way better week. The win rate is around 44%, which is not that bad. The week ended up in a losing 0.9% almost, which is fine. It's not a big loss. It could have been way bigger loss, but it could have also been a winner. The average loss and win, honestly, this is really good. The average win is bigger. Unfortunately, the win rate doesn't help it, but the average win is bigger, and to be honest, comparing with week 4, it looks pretty good. Obviously week 4 was way better, but that's not much of a big deal. That is still fine. And then yeah, I guess that's it for now. We are starting with week 6. We took a Solana trade that is very small loser here. It's extremely fine. Okay, I guess we have to go to the learnings now, right? Learnings. So week 5 learnings. What I should say here is try to keep less trades on overnight range, especially weekends. Okay, that's fine. Because overnight range and weekends, I think, take too much mental capital, and a lot of random stuff can be happening. So I think this can be a good idea, because I have just tried to keep it a bit out of the box. Okay, I tried thinking out of the box and just keep some trades for a prolonged amount of time. So I could say, or maybe just the risk, right? So this sounds like a good idea. Then I think what I should do is if I plan on keeping trades for longer, don't add winners aggressively, right? Because we have seen that when I added too aggressive to the winning trades, I honestly didn't feel comfortable at all, and my mental capital was taking a big hit when having this bigger size. And I after adding 2 times to the winning trade, obviously the trade got bigger, and I didn't really feel okay with keeping it for a prolonged amount of time. Obviously I closed it at a decent win, but it can be better. So it can be better. I could have kept it for longer. I could have done the third addition to the winning position a bit lower. And then deploy more patience, and stay out of trades. Because if I deploy more patience, at that point I can get better entries, and yeah, that's it. I can get better entries, and my plans can work out at a better rate, right? And let's see what can we check. So Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I think honestly, I think that's it, because the other stuff that we have written here are pretty like are kind of similar to what I would have to write here for this context. Well, to be honest, I think that's pretty much it. It was a good week, a lot of stuff to learn, but I just think that keeping trades for during the overnight range and during the weekend is not really my style. I will try to keep doing it for a while in certain situations, but this for sure shouldn't be the norm. So thank you for watching, thank you for paying attention. I hope this will be useful to you. I hope this made sense, and I hope obviously I have shed some light on what I am doing, and maybe it helps you in any way, shape or form. And so thank you, and have a great week, and see you next time. Bye.